Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and oh my goodness, I am so excited to bring you some fantastic upgrades for this 2026 Renegade Verona 36 VSB. I'm coming to you live from Fredrick, Colorado. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. It's the beginning of the college football season and it's just about the beginning of the NFL as well. So as usual, I like to start my RV videos from the inside out. Jody, go ahead and take her on back. But as you guys walk back, I will tell you, I'm going to go ahead and extend this front slide with my phone because I've got the Firefly app here. And I want to show you how much room I have created in this coach by opening up that area. So this is, as you can see, a 36 VSB. And one of the best things about this coach is the walking space that you have with this coach while you are with your slides closed. So as you can see, we've got plenty of room now in this living room. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off in the rear here and show off some of the creature features that make this such a great coach. This, of course, was the first RV that I purchased from Transwest in 2020. The 36 VSB is a 8.9 liter ISL. It's got a 20,000 pound towing capacity. It is built on the M2 106 chassis. This is now, as of 2024, the M2 106 Plus chassis. So some things have really changed for this model. One of the things that happens in that Plus is that the integration that you have of your electronics are much more plug and play as opposed to having to subwire across the entire chassis of the coach. There's a lot of different entry points where you can actually put in different modules, and that's part of that M210 Plus movement. The other thing that's happened with it though is that we've got steering wheel controls, but some of the things that have stayed the same, you've got an 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator, which is currently running, just in case you wanted to know, because you can't really hear it. You also have 1,150 foot-pounds of torque. You've got a 360 horsepower engine, and on this Renegade Verona, one of the nicest aspects of it is that you've got a really nice 2-slide unit with a ton of space and a 36-foot 8-inch length. So a lot of benefits here. Now, when we're in this rear bedroom, first and foremost, some changes that you'll notice on either side of the headboard. Of course, we've got our MCD shades here. I've got my day shade down, or my night shade down, which is this nice oatmeal color. But then I also have my day shade here. But below this, you're going to find a new feature for Renegade. They've realized that people like to keep their phones in a cubby and they don't want something that's going to get knocked around while you're moving. So you've got your USB type A and C and 110 outlet here in a cubby with a shelf here so that you'll have a place to put down if you're watching a movie and you want to have a glass of wine or you want to have a soda, whatever it may be. You've got some room there, and you also got your nightstand, which is going to be great not only to store your phone, but also if you've got a snack and you're watching a movie, you can actually have a little bit of space back here. Another nice feature is that they've modified the nightstands so that you have maybe not a drawer, if you will, but a place to keep, for instance, some AirPods, a place to keep, your phone, your cords, your extra goods. And these shelves are adjustable, so you can change the height within them. So really very convenient, very good move on Renegade's part here. Also, you'll notice we have a ton of storage up here above the headboard. Now, one of the nice aspects of the Renegade is this solid maple cabinetry. This is the Lakewood exterior or Lakewood interior finish. This cabinetry is very nice because it's not quite gray and it's not quite taupe. It's a very nice neutral brown color. So if you're looking for something that can really kind of blend into any of your decor styles, you can. Now this is the Athens bedding, so this is the Athens decor. It comes with more of the dark grays. Historically and still to this day, Renegade tends to do a medium brown, a gray, and then a light beige. And this is the gray tone, if you will, for Renegade. Now underneath here, you're gonna find your 150-gallon water capacity. So you've got your two 75-gallon tanks here. And then on the outside underneath this bed, you can see the courtesy lights, which we really appreciate. The ability to kind of get up in the middle of the night, use the head and not have to worry about where you're going. Just a little extra lighting here. And then a modification from the coach that I had 2 wardrobes here and a lot less drawer space. Now you have these fantastic, nice tall wardrobes. This is no longer removable though, so you no ball gowns in here, right? But you've got 8 drawer storage. So all of this 8 drawer storage is nice and deep. Again, solid maple cabinetry. And one of the things that's really interesting about this Renegade product, it straddles a lot of different products. It has a linoleum floor, as you can see down here, 150 gallon water capacity, 75 gallons of gray, 75 gallons of black. But one of the changes that they've made now is the hydronic heating system, which is what you would use for not only your tankless hot water, but also to keep your coach warm in the winter when you weren't using your 15,000 BTU air conditioners with heat pumps. That hydronic heat historically was with a 250D aqua hot unit. So they've really brought this coach into the best performance class by giving you that 450D aqua hot unit on this coach now, as well as FlowJet. So the FlowJet macerator system and then the 450D aqua hot unit allows you to have your heat running throughout the rear of your coach and having that better hot water, as well as the fact that all of these drawers here, if you look at, are dovetailed. So this is really giving the competition a lot to consider. As you can see, these are really nice, big, deep pocket drawers. Plenty of room. If you want to keep, you know, your jeans and your larger items here, you have these bottom drawers where you can keep flip-flops and hiking boots. And then everything is pre-wired with HDMI and cable. And this coach now, instead of having this Starlink mounted to it, it's prepped. So it's got a Starlink roof mount prep. And of course, you can choose 2 different Starlink units for this coach. If you want to choose the residential style, it's got a 110-degree radius that it can read the sky, if you will. And then if you want to go with the larger, more industrial unit, that is going to have a 130-degree radius that it can read the sky with. But there's a mount on top of this coach, so that's very simple for you to, if you will, have it pre-wired. Now here above the emergency exit window, you'll see that we do have our Samsung flat screen TV. Of course, all of the televisions throughout this coach are going to be smart TVs. So if you would like to have an in-motion satellite, this coach is also wired for that. And then it does have standard, the WineGuard 5.0 Wi-Fi system. The best thing for that would be to get a Verizon card or a T-Mobile card, and you pay for your monthly cellular subscription to get Wi-Fi. So this coach can have Wi-Fi with just a very inexpensive monthly subscription for cellular. It could have Starlink, or it could have an in-motion satellite. It's all set up and ready to go. We've stopped making choices for people because we found that they make different decisions than we might make. And instead of having to pay for something twice, it's easier to get everything prepped and allow for you to pay for it once. Now here in the rear, one of the features I wanted to mention, I love the fact that they put this big nice mirror here. This is a lot of enhancement in terms of the size of this room. And then this mattress is a 72 by 66 RV Mini King. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the fact that RVs mattresses are always different sizes, this coach, when it tucks into this area right here. So this is why we have the Mini King. It comes all the way in and it will create the second slide area of this coach. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this door just so you can see how nice, again, this craftsmanship is. Really beautiful. You can see just how soft and subtle that is when it's sliding on that track. It's got a little snap here, and I'll show you one of those in the bathroom. Jody, if you just want to pop into that bathroom, I'm going to show everybody how these doors are secured. So right next to this 35-inch radius shower, you see the snap here. This snap is what allows you to open and close this door, again, sliding nicely into the pocket, but also very easy, very simple to operate, nothing too complex, no hidden wall tracks. And then one of my favorite features that they've kept with is if your husband's being naughty, you can just put him into the shower and you close this and he can't get out. So that's a really great, feature also for naughty children, kids, wives, house cats, whatever it might be. But the other feature that I really love about this radius shower, a few years back we changed the interior of it so it doesn't have this oatmeal-y look anymore. It's nice, white and clean. We added a soap dish. We've got our wand on a bar here, but the seat is improved. So there's a lot more sitting room here. And when you are in a narrow shower, one of the main tests people will tend to perform is, can I pick up the soap? And the answer is yes, you can pick up the soap because you've got this nice chair here. The other benefit is that this is actually magnetic. So when this is closed, it's really giving you a very, very warm, insulated place where you can take a shower. Wow, I'm so noisy today. Sorry about that. Another feature I love, they've got a rope hook in here now. And then of course we have our standard set shelves with all your TP storage up here, and then of course a place to keep your tank treatment. And then below that you're going to find that with the Santa Marin, one of the best benefits of this coach is that it has an eco flush and a full flush on a solid porcelain toilet, no pump. And again, this has the FlowJet macerator system. Okay, so what does FlowJet mean for you? What FlowJet means for you is that you have a pumping system. So in a coach that has a 150-gallon water capacity, if you don't have enough room in your gray water tank to finish your laundry, for instance, and yes, I did say laundry because you do have your Splendid stackable washer on dryer in this coach, but let's say that you're doing a load of laundry and you don't quite have enough room to finish that load of laundry, you can actually pump your gray water into a localized drain, even up a hill with a FlowJet system. So it really just gives you a little more flexibility if you are boondocking. And of course, one of the most important features for me is having that ability to free up the gray water tank. I don't use much of the black water. A 50-gallon black water tank would be more useful for me. With a 100-gallon gray water tank, I'm going to keep making that ask. Maybe eventually they'll hear me and they'll put that into the coaches, but I feel like that's kind of how a lot of people operate. But when you can't have that ability, being able to dump your gray water into a localized drain with FlowJet really sets this coach apart. That's not available on the Newmar product in, for instance, the Superstar. So you've got that same M2 106 Plus chassis that does not have the SantaCon system on it. And that's a big deal. I think that it's something that we really need to work on from that manufacturer's standpoint, because it's very useful for you. And the fact that this Verona has this and it's not even at the LE level is amazing. Now again, adjustable shelves here, nice solid maple medicine cabinet. As you can see, they always have some really cool decorative lights above their vanities. One of the things I'll say about Renegade is that they tend to have really good taste in the things that they put into the coaches. Nothing is gaudy. Everything is pretty modern. It's not over the top, ostentatious. And it's also, as you can see, really solid and easy to take care of. You're not going to have to clean out cobwebs. There's nothing like catching any kind of, mosquitoes or whatever. Very easy to manage lighting fixtures. And then these attractive tile backsplashes that they add. And I love this sparkle countertop. It's one of my favorites available. And then as you can see, all of the height here. So if you do want to plug in your toothbrush, your electric toothbrush, you have plenty of room here to plug it in and the height to go with it. I also like the seamless mount sink underneath here. So there's a nice single faucet, no lip to clean, and then a ton of storage here. And this is big storage, you guys. This is great storage. If you've got a shower caddy or two, or you want to put in some XO containers that hold your shampoo and conditioner, that's what we do in the winter time. If anything freezes, we want to make sure if it explodes, it lands into a nice consolidated place. But this is a lot of room here, and then plenty of room here for all your toothbrushes, your hairbrush, all those things. And that, of course, paired with the huge medicine cabinet above, there's plenty of storage. Now down below here, you can see there's two vents here. Those are for your hydronic heat. And once again, when you move up into that 450D AquaHot unit, you have a much larger reservoir, giving you the ability to have much warmer water in your shower. That's always been kind of the issue with the Renegade Verona. They've had the 250D for so long, and that 250 was just always putting out warm water, just not hot water. This 450D will get you some hot water. This is a standard hydronic system on the LE. Now it's standard on the 2026 Renegade Verona. So I'm going to close this door as well. So another pocket door. So if you can see what I'm putting down here, this is a room, that's a room, that's a room. In this very small structure, I can have someone brushing their teeth, using the office, taking a shower, getting a little extra sleep, and then also making me coffee all at the same time. That's how I like to have my household humming on all cylinders. So this is a really nice feature. Now, I am going to show this to you again because I think that this is pretty fantastic. So when you look at this coach, it's going to search. There we go. And I'm going to hit confirm here. And we're going to go ahead and retract our slide here. So go ahead, Jody, step up with me just a little bit so we don't get you stuck in here. But so I wanted to show you, first of all, the speed of this slide is really impressive. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is how much room you have with this slide closed. So this is unbelievable to me because I have a Superstar, so I have a full wall slide on this side and then another slide here. This amount of room for anyone who's got a large dog, any kind of pets, or if you're simply going to be boondocking somewhere, you know, maybe you pull into a rest stop at night and you don't necessarily want to get out of your coach or put your slides out. You just want to catch a little shut-eye before you get on to your next destination. This is a ton of room. And the narrowest point right here is going to be about 9.5, 10 inches. But when you're back here, the narrowest point that you have here is literally, you guys, this is 23 inches across. So there's a ton of room to get ready. Now, of course, this slide would come in and tuck all the way into the back. But then up here, when you look at this table, you have, first of all, a 42-inch deep table. But that is all dog room underneath there. So if you've got a puppy who wants to hang out, so much room for your puppy. And then if you want to know what your walkable room is here on the in-between, up to 24 inches here, and at your narrowest point, so your very narrowest point, 20 inches. Just coming from a coach that is, I mean, I have to go sideways shimmy the whole way down the aisleway when I'm in my RV, and I still make it to the potty, don't get me wrong, but it's just really nice to see how much extra room you have. And then if you'll notice, if I was outside and I was trying to put my slide out and I was concerned about a tree, I could do this from anywhere outside or inside of my coach as long as I'm within Wi-Fi range, which is not terribly close or not terribly far, but you know, far enough that you could go outside and make sure you're not going to run into a tree or hit the vehicle that you've got, you know, next to you, whatever it may be. So this is a very nice feature. Now, the other thing I want to point out about the Renegade Verona, which has been standard through the test of time, is the amount of drawer storage underneath here. It is ridiculous. Oh my God. So I'm pulling this out. This is, of course, the insert for the bed. But as you can see, I put all of my plates and all of my dishes underneath my booth in my Superstar. In this coach, I could have like a whole extra drawer. I mean, all of my plates and dishes and placemats would fit with my napkins in just one side. Also this year, they finally got rid of those stupid snaps. Thank you guys, I really appreciate it. Something else that I will tell you I had was cup holder envy. When I bought my 2020 Renegade, I did not have this really nice cup holder or a place to keep my AirPods. You also have your Type C and A USB ports as well as your 110s. And this little sack down here where you could keep some sticky notes, whatever you needed if you wanted to have a grocery list. And then 12 feet of storage space. This is something I still miss. If you have those little shoe boxes you can get at the Container Store or at Costco and a label maker, you can fit so many caddies in here, and you can really have all of your storage the whole way down the length of your coach, and you just put it in alphabetically. It's a really nice feature. Now this coach, as you can see, has the recliner set, and it's got some really nice cup holders right between the two recliners. It's also made out of this I want to tell you, it's It doesn't feel like leather and it doesn't feel like plastic. It's kind of a soft in between. It feels very durable, which I super appreciate. But on top of it, you also have not only a power recliner here, which is much nicer than that of, you know, for instance, the Grand Star has like a push to release. This has a much better tilt to it. So if you're looking to take a nap here, this is definitely a nap recliner. A lot of them are more like TV watching recliners. But on top of it, it has lighted cup holders, as well as heated seats and massaging seats. Now, when I say massaging, I'm going to say it has a 3-set massage, and I'm going to use the term massaging loosely because it's more like vibrating. But I mean, if you got done with like a long hike and you wanted to vibrate a little bit, I could see where that would be kind of handy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, linoleum is opposed to a full tile floor. If you're into that full tile and you want, you know, that level of flooring, and then you can move up into the LE with the next product up. But this 36 VSB is a really fantastic product. And in all honesty, I think the durability of the linoleum these days, when you have these vinyl, I'm sorry, not linoleum, these vinyl plank tiles, is a really good feature. One of the things to keep in mind is, first of all, it's not going to be as slippery for your fine furry friends. And then secondly, if you've got like a clumsy, you know, 8-year-old, 18-year-old, in my case, 17-year-old, she won't break the floor when she drops stuff on it in the RV. Now, in the Renegade 36 VSB, they still have all of the controls here in the center. And of course, that's because there's not as much room to put them into the bathroom. This is a fuse panel, and then you've got your circuit breakers. But one of the things that's nice about this is they do separate this, so things that run off of your inverter versus things that need to have the generator running are grouped together. And then there's some fuses here. And then up here you have all of the room. So I know that there's not quite as much room in this pantry area because of all the electronics here, but this is incredible. If you've ever wanted to have a rice cooker, a toaster oven, a coffee pot, a full mixer, all the mixing bowls, I mean, geez, you could put everything in here. You could live in this coach. It's so nice. And then up here where we've got our glass surround, you can also keep all of your trays, any kind of serving utensils. And then of course, this is also going to give you the availability of keeping anything, you know, that is like longer. So for me, I do a lot of, you know, little parties where we'll have friends over. And it's nice to have like a place to put your charcuterie boards, your salad bowls, all those things up there. So this is an 18 cubic foot refrigerator. It's the same refrigerator that I had on my 36 VSB back in 2020. Obviously, it's doing the trick. One of the nice things about it is it does have adjustable shelves. It's got some nice deep pockets on the doors. But as you can see here, there's no delineation. So for me, because of this coach, got in the habit of I have a bunch of storage containers, and even when they're empty, I keep them in here so things don't move around too much. And then if I get strawberries or cherries or tomatoes or lettuce, I just fill up those containers. So this is a very good way to have storage in it because it's not delineated. You can kind of make it your own. And then also they've got this really nice deep refrigerator. And now this is an automatic ice maker. And so it's got a sliding drawer, but plenty of room for meats here. And in 2021, I think they took the handles off of the door. But last year, or I should say in 24, they added this little guy, which is so nice because as you can see, it just locks your refrigerator and freezer, and you can see that it's locked. One of my pet peeves in my Superstar, of course, is that I never know if the refrigerator's open or closed because you can't tell where that latch is supposed to be. So you always have to get back there and just check it out. Now, a nice feature that they've made and they've changed here is that you have the ability to move your divider around and create different space in these drawers down below. And then this is locked. Let me open that. And here you can see you've got plenty of room for all of your pots and pans. So this is a really, really nice feature. Again, if you've got, you know, maybe a frying pan or a quart pot that you want, you could take this out altogether. And again, all of this solid maple cabinetry, dovetailed. you know, custom inlays. It's just such a huge value for the consumer with this product. Now, as you can see, we have a ton of remotes here. So you've got a TV in the bunk over cab, the Insignia TV. You've got this nice big Samsung over the door. You've got the television both in the bedroom, and then also you've got another one outside. But one of the things that's really nice that they do is they actually label your remote so you know what TV it's for. They also give you some extra paint. As you can see, we are in the Polaris today, so we have the 1 can of paint because it's a single color. This is your whole house water filter. And then also you'll see that down below, tons of room here. So if you wanted to keep any kind of mop bucket, things along those lines, plenty of room to keep that here in the kitchen like you would normally do at your home. And then one of the most impressive features of the Renegade is the fact that it can hold such a huge kitchen-sized refrigerator. Wow, where is your brain? Trash can. Okay, you guys, I was at Red Rocks last night until about midnight when I saw Sierra Farrell, so I'm a little tired today. It's my 3rd video of this week. But yeah, this is a trash can, not a refrigerator. And you could get a blue one for recycled and a black one for outside, and then keep your nice silver one for the inside. That's what we did with ours. But so there's lots of room in here. I should show you, there's also your subwoofers back there, and then a ton of extra space. So if you didn't know that that was back there, lots of space there. But this is one of the fun new features that I love about the 36 VSB. Look at this pantry. There is so much room in this pantry for canned goods, for anything that you would need. And one of the best parts about it is it can be a cutting board area, right? So you can go ahead and get your extra shelf on right here. Or you can take this off and have access to everything in your pantry area. So double bonus there. And again, a nice cutting board. You'd probably use this side of it. And then when you have it stowed here, it's a place to hang your kitchen towel and your washcloth. So what a cool feature to have all of that combined into one area. And then this simply locks as well as this one. And in true Renegade fashion, nice and secure. Everything going down the road will stay shut. And then check out this space. All of the room for coffee cups, mugs. I mean, I don't know. There's so much room in this coach for storage. You'll really have to pick where you want to put everything. Now, as you can see down below, one of the features I really like about the Renegade Verona now is historically they had this weird, I don't know, like some kind of, I don't know, some kind of weird sink. But now that's a stainless steel undermount with a spray and pour feature. Very nice, simple, deep basin sink. If you're wondering how I was controlling the coach with my phone, it's with this Vega Touch Mira app. Firefly runs this coach. Such a cool feature. I mean, you can start your generator, you can put your slides in and out, you can control your awnings, everything through that app. And then down below here we have our true induction cooktop. I would say the only negative to this coach in my estimation is that you can't take this inside or outside from inside. So in my Superstar, it's removable. All of that being said, the induction cooktops are very inexpensive. The benefit of having this in your coach is that if you put a paper towel down on top of this cooktop and you wanted to boil a pot of water, at altitude it's going to boil much faster than it would if you were using any kind of propane flame. And then on top of it, like I said, you could boil the pot of water with a paper towel underneath it, which means it's not going to catch on fire. This is a really big deal for those of you that are camping with littles that want to be able to help out. And when you set this, you set it to 360 degrees for fried eggs. It goes to 360 degrees regardless of the altitude. It's one of the reasons I like using the true induction outside is because it's magnetic, it's very much windproof. So you don't have to worry about the flame temperature being, compromised by the wind. Now above the microwave and convection oven, we have another huge storage space. I mean, like I said, I know that we've got the electronics in the bottom of the pantry here, but look at all of the room here. And then here we have this high point microwave and convection oven. You guys, it's been the same since 2020. I always get questions, oh, did they downgrade that? No, they've been using the same one forever because it works. Now here on my mobile app, I'll trade you places, Jody, so I can just kind of walk through some of these features. Here's the mobile app. Here's my home screen. You can see my fresh gray and black water tank. All of this information will also display exactly the same way on your phone. You've got your lighting controls. You can turn one on and off at the same time. And then you have your power systems, so you can see if your generator's running, you know, how much power you've coming in. You've got 300 amp hours of battery, lithium batteries on this coach. You've got that upgraded package, so you can see how full you are. We've got 600 watts of solar on top of this coach. On top of it, you've got your again, two 15,000 BTU air conditioners. You've got your climate control here, and you also have bay control, so you can keep that bay warm. As well as you can see your aqua hot system here, so you can use your hydronic heat either off of your after your 50 amp or off of your 30 amp, or you could use it off of the diesel burner. And then here, of course, you've got your fan control. So there's a fan in the bathroom as well as in the kitchen for ventilation. All of your slide controls, all of your leveling controls on one screen. And then, of course, this is, again, that app, which not only has the mobile app here, but also diagnosis. So if you're doing any kind of troubleshooting, all of this is available, again, not just in the coach, but also on your phone. Okay, so a new feature, I'll let you show this first before I pull this out. So, again, two 110 outlets, Type A and Type C USB ports. LED lighting, another pocket once again, so you can keep your phone in there without having to worry about knocking it out of the port while you're sleeping. We can go ahead and close these, oh, I don't want to turn the ceiling lights off. I want to close the interior shade. So we'll go ahead and hit extend, nice and quick. So if you do have someone sleeping in here, it's great. If they want to stay up and watch their own TV, they've got this beautiful accent lighting. And again, with this curtain, you could have a little one or even an adult up here. I do think with the slope of this roof, it would be better for 2 kids than 2 adults. But I mean, if you've had enough margaritas, you could sleep on the recliners even. So, oh my gosh, why is this so hard? Oh, you know what it is, you guys? It's because I was up dancing all night long. Okay, so this is a really nice, large sleeping area. But one of my favorite new features is this ladder. I love the fact that you can actually retract this ladder. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it off just like that. How slick is that? So cool. And then I wanted to measure how tall you could be. And I've done this about 500 million times, but you know, it's always good just to have a fresh measurement on deck for you. Because if you do have tall people in your family, this is 77 inches. So that is super, super great. 6'5" fits up here. And then in terms of the overall depth, we're gonna go out to about 53 inches in terms of overall depth. And then the height to the mattress, let's go ahead and get that. At the deepest point is 22 inches. So really good area up there for anybody who wants to actually have humans in there. This actually fits full-fledged adult-sized people, which is super nice. I'm just gonna slide this up for the sake of the video right now. Another thing I wanted to mention though is if you do have storage issues and you want to keep things inside your coach, if this coach had existed with this optional bunk over cab, when I bought my Verona, I might not have a Superstar right now. I bought my Superstar because I found that on the 36 VSB, I didn't have enough room for interior storage. 31 inches is the depth there. So if you wanted to have any kind of bins up there with supplies that you're trying to keep from getting too hot, you could absolutely do that. Now, I'm gonna pull this out because I think that there's so many times where people wanna see how this works. It's a magnet, so this is the release right here. This comes out, as you can see, you've got a nice sound bar here. 43-inch, again, flat screen TV. This is a Samsung product, so really nice feature of this coach. Of course, oh, look at me, I'm turning things on. Oh no, don't make noise, please. Oh shoot. Hold on, let me see. I know I can find the remote because it's labeled living room, bedroom. I never did that during a video before, and it was in Spanish. That's awesome. Okay, so I think we've covered a lot of what's in the front here. Again, we've got courtesy lights on either side, a really nice handrail. In this coach, one of the nice features, of course, is that you've got the pass-through for your beer. So you can just put your beer through here. And then you have you've got your inverter controls right here. So your Xantrex inverter is all managed right here, as well as your fire extinguisher. And then you also have your battery disconnect for your house. And then you've got your step lock. And then this e-start. That's the one thing I'll say. So first of all, this is a very easy situation to quell. There's no step cover here. If you've got a dog that falls down the step, that could be a problem, or a toddler for that matter. So I think you definitely want to get a step cover. The other thing though is if you need to use your house batteries to boost your chassis, someone has to push that button. I don't know why they do that. They should just move it over to the chassis, especially now. There's no reason to keep it here. But you know, if everyone's a critic, right? So on the Renegade, it's here. On the Newmar, it's on the dash. It's a much better placement. I don't know why they can't just move it. But on that note, let me show you one of my favorite new features. This coach has a dedicated rear view monitor. So long in the works. I have added so many dedicated rear view monitors to coaches over the years. It's so nice to have something where when you're using your Garmin system and you put your you put your map up here, you're not going to lose the ability to see what's going on behind you. So I'm just going to start this up real quickly. So very nice color rear view monitor right there. And also you'll see when you put your signal on, it comes up in this display. So your map is being left alone. Your any of the things that you're using, whether you're using your Bluetooth, whether you're using your navigation, all of those things are going to be kept live here because you've got a space here that's actually dedicated to showing, again, if you've got your turn signals on, all of that's showing up where you can see it, and it's very much like having a rear view mirror. They still have not gotten this part right. There's no place for me to put my lip gloss on, but there's some nice deep pockets up here for sunglasses and a wallet. It's also pre-wired so that you could get your Cobra system installed up here if you would like. You've got some nice dash lights, so that's great. Here below, they've made hazard much easier to find. You've got your cab step lights. You could light your footwell. And then here you'll see that you've got your lane tracking package where you can turn that on and off. So this coach has a degree of safety features that are installed in it. But when you have an Allison transmission paired with a Cummins engine on a Freightliner chassis, you do not get the full Detroit Assurance Package cruise control. So this coach has a standard cruise control, not adaptive. Get a lot of people that have been given bad information about that. It's unfortunate. When you dump your tag here, of course, it's going to make it easier to load your tow vehicle. It's also going to keep you from hyperextending your hydraulic leveling jacks. There is an app for the equalizer system, or you can use Firefly. The locking diff is just going to get you out of a slippery situation. Same thing if you don't want to do burnouts, you could go ahead and turn off, or if you do want to do burnouts, I should say, that ATC spin where it's sending the power from one wheel to the next. Now, one of my favorite features on the M2 106 chassis is that you have your engine brake here. So as you can see, this is a true engine brake. It's not turbo only. That's something that you will find is the case on the Valencia product, or the Grand Star for that matter. Anything on that S2RV chassis with the 6.7 liter ISB is really working off of a limited engine brake, where this is actually working off of your 8.9 liter ISL, giving you a little bit better braking power going down the hill. Of course, that is the way you want to stop. Now you can downshift and upshift. Right here you've got manual. And when you start the coach, let me do that. They do pay at Renegade when they buy these chassis to have different things from Freightliner. One of them is that they have an extra insulation package in the cab of this chassis. But as you can see, I'm in neutral right here. If I was to go into reverse, it would show right here that I'm in reverse. And then if I was going to go into drive, it would show right there that I'm also in drive. The other benefit, and then as you can see, I could be in first gear all the way through. So I can show my speed. I can show my lane tracking package. So if I'm going out of the lines, I can also go here and look at my tire pressure, which is very nice. And you can see, so we've got a gauge display here for your PSI, and then your temperature. You also have your soot level for your particulate filter. I don't think I see anything in gauge 2 or 3. Tire pressure, and then here your locking diff would show. The next one is going to be when you need to have maintenance for your coach. You can look at your transmission and filter health, oil life as well. And then you can also run diagnostics or see if there's any active alerts. And then here in settings where you could set, if you wanted to, change the time on the coach. If you wanted to change it, you could change the units of the coach. If you wanted to have metric versus, the United States stuff, all of those things right here in the center console. So that's really handy. The other big change for us, of course, is that you have all of the controls on your dash now. You can turn your volume up and down. You can go through all of the different menus. You can hang up your phone. You can make a voice call. All of these things, your cruise control, everything is set right here on the dash now. And as you can see, they've also gotten away from that really weird finish. They've got this nice fake wood look. I shudder to think that it's real, but it looks really nice. It looks really real. The Garmin's the same as it's always been, where you could take it off and work with it if you need to, so the navigator can use it. And then of course your climate control is just the same as it's always been. And what would we do in the United States without an ashtray? So there is an ashtray for you. Maybe a good place to keep some pennies if you want to use it that way instead. And then in terms of being comfortable here, you have both the air ride seats. This is the little guy right here. It's hard to find, so there you can see that's the air ride guy. These are also heated. Renegade makes, I would say, probably the most comfortable driver's seat. And then this is telescopic. So if you're a big, tall guy, or you're a short, little petite person like myself, maybe not so petite, but definitely short, very nice to have that adjustable steering column here. And then finally, automatic headlights. Oh my God, what have we done to deserve this? This is such a nice thing. I'm just turning on all the noise today. Turn that off, there we go. Heated power mirrors on the outside, power locks, power windows, and then as you can see, big chrome convex mirrors, plenty of visibility in this coach. And again, this M2 106 chassis is really designed for medium duty truck drivers to go cross country. So very comfortable long distance driving. But again, second to none would be Renegade in the market for seats. These are such nice seats. There's armrests on both sides, so you can be in this coach for the long haul. If you were to have your air ride seat up and you were to be me, I would need a footrest there. So ladies, don't be afraid of a little footrest. Also, you'll note the curtains come all the way around here. I will say the MagnaShade brand is what we use on my M2 106 chassis. I would get some MagnaShades. Having that Mylar backed shade with insulation is going to keep the heat out or keep the cold, keep the cold out depending on the temperature. When you put the curtain in, it's still hitting the dash. If it's sunny on the dash, that heat can still kind of, warm up the cabin and come into the rest of the coach. So the MagnaShades are definitely, or the, I'm sorry, did I say MagnaShade? I did, huh? I've got to think of the name of the other company. It's not MagnaShade. MagnaShade makes them for Class A's. But anyway, one thing to note is the step here. I got to tell you guys, if you get a Super C, there's either a step going down into the cab, like in the Superstar where it's flush until you get over here, or there's one going into the cab itself. Honestly, it's really just not that big of a deal. And if it is, Class A's don't have a step, so that could definitely be more your suit. As I didn't, I think, mention the fact that you have these really nice opening windows. And the reason I say they're really nice is because when you pop them open like this, as you can see, you can actually open them if it's drizzly outside and the rain's just going to simply pour, off the outside of the window, so you'll be able to have those open in a storm. So I think that we can go outside now, and take a look at some of the exterior features of this coach. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I do have the step lock on, so this will stay on again, but when I started the coach, the step automatically came in. And I saw someone who measured the height here, and I mean, it's true, it is 21 inches off the ground. Being that you're within, this says 23. I mean, okay, you're 8. Like, I don't know, like if you can't go in through that door because you've got a physical restriction, you still have plenty of access to get in and out of the coach here. I think it's kind of fun to talk about this. When you go to the Renegade factory, if you'll notice, this is black. That is because all of the Super Cs that come through on those M2 106 Plus chassis are cutaways, and they all come with black cabs, so that's kind of fun. That's why you've got black in the door here. On that note, Renegade actually has 4 solid colors this year. So you can get a white, kind of a beigey color, Mojave. You can get this gray, and then there's kind of a greenish gray, and it's right over there, Jody, if you just want to take a quick gander. I think we described it as sage this morning. Is that what we agreed on? We think it's kind of a sagey gray. So kind of cool. Nice features about this cab though. If you are trying to get in here, there's a ton of different places to have grab handles, so really easy access. Also very grippy step plates here with little holes in them, so all those little rocks and things that are on your shoes, when you go to get in here, you're still gonna have grip. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you got high, off, and low heated seats, which is a nice feature on a coach like this to have heated seats. I have my heated seats on in the dead of summer, so I just love heated seats. I hear a lot of people talk about airbags. They're not in the front. This is a spring leaf suspension. Again, this M2 106 Plus, where you see that red Cummins up there above that, that's the marriage of the Cummins to the Freightliner chassis. One of the big aspects and the things that are important to a lot of people who like these Super Cs is your ability to access the engine. I have to tell you, if you come to my service department for chassis service in a Class A or a Super C, I mean, we'll get you both in. If you're the first 2 people in line, you get in that morning. So I would say certainly there are a lot more Super C service centers across the country. In terms of house service, you know, I don't know. I think that they're both very convenient. I wouldn't buy one for serviceability unless you're doing your own service. But if you're doing it for the benefit of my technicians, they really don't care if you've got a Super C or Class A. Now, if you're in Wyoming and there's a ton of mule deer and you're worried about having something in front of you as opposed to having the generator underneath you, that would certainly be something to consider. Also, you'll note here that they've got like this 3-point breakaway bumper. This is part of Freightliner's standard equipment level. They really like to make sure that these are a low insurance premium, so if you just have a little oopsie as opposed to a big oopsie, you can mitigate the amount of replacement that you need. Here's that side camera, and then before we go around, I will show you over here. The other side is where you're going to have your positive and negative for your jump, for your chassis batteries. Your chassis batteries, of course, are not located there, but that is the jump point for these. And then, as I mentioned earlier, they do have the extra insulation in this product so that you have a softer or a quieter cab inside. This coach also has the caliber 9 matte black painted grille option. This is not considered an Onyx package or anything like that. What it is it's a standalone option for the grille, and then also a standalone option for the matte black wheels. So this is not a blackout package. If you had a blackout package, you'd notice things like this on the chrome mirrors. And I actually did have someone who just had a question about that, so that's the rationale there. You'll notice here I've got diesel fuel on both of my doors on either side. These are 2 50-gallon tanks, so 100 gallons total fuel capacity. Saddle tanks, it's got a 6-gallon depth tank, which I'll show you in just a minute. And then I wanted to also show you, here is your shade. This is a really nice feature, folks. In my coach, I did not have a window shade. So That's a great benefit. As I mentioned earlier, the step lock is locked, but if I turn the coach on, it'll go in automatically. And then also new for this year, a fingerprint reader or a touchpad. So if you are looking for a coach where you can leave your keys behind, you know, go jump in your kayak and lock your coach up, you can do that right here from the touchpad. Also just a nice entry grab bar. There's no illumination out here from the grab bar, but there is a nice overhead door light if you want to leave that on. It's LED, it's not going to get that hot. This is a great place to keep a fire pit or some extra propane if you want. And I'm going to go ahead and just measure for you. I like to measure from inside of these two latches because this is an important feature. So 17 inches is your clearance there. And then from your gas strut here, you have 24 inches in terms of height. And then in terms of depth, you have about 27, 28 inches there. But to the back of these like little guys here, it's only 25 and a half. So call it 25. You will note that on these coaches, you have a dual latch system, dual hinges, super solid. These are steel compartments. They are carpet lined. People say, oh, why are they carpet lined? Because they rattle when they're not carpet lined. This is actually such a nice feature. And if you want to get them rhino coated, you can, but honestly, most of the time I'll tell you, I find people are keeping things in bins in their coaches, so I don't think it really matters that much. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this all the way down for you just to show you how long this bay really is. This is 120 inches of overall length. The entrance level, the entrance into these bays is going to really be, again, at the hinges. Sorry, let me get that out there again. At the hinges, we're going to look at about 53 inches, and then overall top to bottom height. Your clearance here, I'll give you the whole thing since you can work around it, is over 24 inches. As you can see, these little grommets here are great if you want to run a blender out of there, if you want to, you know, run your Starlink out of there. All of those things are possible. There's an outlet up here, so if you wanted to put in, you know, the Starlink from your house, your residential Starlink, and just bring your router with you, very easily could do that on this coach. Another Samsung television out here, as well as a sound bar, and this is one I can actually reach Jody. And then over here we have two USB Type A charging ports. If those aren't going to work for your phone, get online and order a different one, because that's what you got to work with right there, unless you're running out of these outlets down below. I will open both of these just to show you. So many exciting things that are new for this coach. I mean, with the hydronic heat, the number pad on the doors, you know, that 450, again, hydronic heat's huge. Just really, the flow jet, wow, what's going on here? There we go. Very unusual. It's very easy to close these drawers. I really like the fact, again, that you can control these slides very easily from inside or outside of the coach. And then, as you can see here, that little lip there is about 8 inches, just so you know. And it's about 5 feet deep. So really nice, big space there. Go ahead and show you putting this, again, I'm doing this from outside of the coach off of my phone. Just amazing. I can also control my awning, and I do want to show you that on my awning, I have these nice Gerard awnings, and I have lights. So very handy to have a nice illuminated outside living area. Oh, and you know what I think I'm gonna do, because now that we're outside the coach, I don't need to have anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and stop my generator. Quieter. By the way, that was the sound of the generator. So if you'll notice the difference in sound, really well insulated inside of that Renegade Verona. So if you do run your generator at night to keep your air conditioning up and running when you're boondocking, you're going to be fine there. This does not have a second inverter, so you can only run your air conditioner if you're plugged in or if your gen is on. 45 inches is the width there. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, that's really about 5 feet deep. But overall, you could load up to about 23 to 22 inches, depending on whether or not you're including this strut here. So this back compartment's where we always kept, I don't know, we have the Home Depot buckets that you use for everything, but you could use yours for whatever you want. This is definitely a smaller port of entry. So, oh, can I do this? Let's see how talented I can be today. All right. So consider this about 11 inches and then about 20 top to bottom and about 27, 28 inches deep. So a little more room on the inside, but if you're looking for what you can get into those doors, just keep in mind you are limited in terms of space. Now this feature here is really nice. You've got a 2-panel fiberglass end cap. Also, you've got a fiberglass roof. So there's, you know, this whole coach is very well made. You've got a vacuum sealed, very thick floor underneath as well. So it's going to keep the heat out of your coach on the summer and keep your heat in the coach in the winter time. But the benefit of having this 2-panel piece on the back here is that if you have an oopsie down here, you're not replacing this entire panel. Also, as we mentioned earlier, you've got your reversible ball hitch, you're pre-wired for your Voyager camera system, as well as your 7-pin connector, and also a trailer brake is standard on this product. Your reversible ball is standard, and it is again a 20,000 pound towing capacity. Also, you'll see that we have got that black Renegade mud flap down below. This coach is super badass for people who are looking for a head turner. You'll get a lot of jealous people in this product. I like the fact that these aren't painted. Very easy to maintain. This is a 36-foot power cord. Pretty short, to be honest with you, but it's on a power reel and it's right next to the business side of the coach. It's right where your box would normally be. It has a surge protector, and then also it comes standard with that downsizer, so the 50 to 30 downsizer, which is nice because most people that come in and buy coaches from me have to buy those in the service department. So it's just cool that they include it. That little white guy on the right-hand side is for your gravity hose. You should always just have an extra one. Again, this has the FlowJet macerator system, so you don't necessarily need it, but it wouldn't be bad to have one anyhow. And then as you can see here, your Cummins Onan generator is a 8,000 watt or 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. This is again running off of your 100-gallon fuel capacity, and very easy to start and stop on your phone. You can also do it out here, but there's a little breaker reset here, and I just want to make sure I bring that to your attention, because if you ever have your generator running but you don't have power, you probably tripped your breaker on the gen. So just important to know. As you can see here, there's a valve stem extender right here, which is nice. Again, you've got these big, deep matte black wheels. And then here in the water bay, everything is etched into the water bay. So this is all etched with a water jet. And what's nice about that is it's not going to wear off over time. You're always going to be able to see it, and you're always going to be able to read everything that's on that face there. So I'm putting this slide in just to give us a little bit better access. But as you can see, super fast, in and out. One thing I'll talk about, which is across the entire product line for any Super C or Class A for that matter, they finally have a clear water housing. Your freshwater hose is on a power reel. And then also you've got your cable inlet is in this bay, and there's a grommet, so if you are running cable from the park, you can do that. This is where your FlowJet is. And then these are sea level tank monitors. Before sea level, they read like literally 33, 66, and then they never got to full. So you always just had to wait to watch the water dump from underneath your coach to know if your tanks were full. It's a much nicer, more accurate system. And then you've got, again, 75-gallon gray, 75-gallon black, all underneath here. And then here's the big change for 2026. This is such a game changer, you guys. To have the FlowJet system and then to have AquaHot 450D on a coach that really doesn't have anything in the segment that even compares to it from a quality standpoint, from a cabinet construction standpoint. Rev Group is really proud of their Super Cs. Year after year, they've gotten better. They're not cutting corners. They're not getting more chintzy. They are becoming more and more robust. They're taking that segment and really filling it in. It's a huge move for this product. So if this is a product that you were only considering in the LE before, you can now consider it with that, you know, door control, with a 450D. You can get a 36-foot Renegade Verona and really have all of the niceties that you had on that LE product line, except for stuff like in-floor heating and tile. But for a lot of people, those are just not worth the spend. So this has the 330 amps of AGM and then 300 amp hours of lithionics, or not lithionics, I'm sorry, these are Battleborn, Dragonfly, whatever you want to call them, it's all the same company. But these lithium batteries, again, are going to be able to be readable on your app. And then as mentioned earlier, 6-gallon depth tank. This is the other side of your 50-gallon saddle tank. We've already looked under the hood here today, but I do want to show you underneath the seat. So again, heated seats. There's that brake controller. There's a diagnostic port here that's very easy to get to. And then again, this is with the Allison transmission. That DT12, guys, it's a lot. This is a really nice, super smooth 3200 TRV transmission. Plenty of towing capacity. Of course, as you get into those larger numbers with your transmission, you're getting into that better towing capacity. Again, 20,000 pounds of towing capacity on this coach. And this is a stock number 5N250490. Again, 5N250490. For those of you who watch all of my videos, don't tell me that after you bought your coach. Call me. Let me know how I can get you out on the road and camping. My name is Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV. I promise you one thing, I've got your best interest at heart, and I'll do everything it takes to make sure that I get you out on the road